Hi, guys. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the current state of the Star Wars franchise. This is something that's actually meant a lot to me over my life. I have loved Star Wars. I've grown up as a Star Wars fan. One of the reasons why I love cinema so much is because of Star Wars, because of the very first George Lucas movie I watched, and that really changed the way I felt about films. It introduced me to cinema. And I've noticed a lot of rhetoric online recently with the fans that they're basically saying the Star Wars franchise is dead. That Lucasfilm and Disney together have driven this franchise into the ground and that it can't be resuscitated. Now, I understand a lot of those grievances. However, as far as I'm concerned, I actually think the Star Wars franchise is in a bad place right now, but it can be saved. And I really want to talk a little bit more about that. And one of the reasons why a lot of people are saying this at the moment is because of Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte, which are the last two Star Wars shows we've seen. They're not very good. Um, I mean, I think Skeleton Crew is fine. The thing is, Skeleton Crew is a kids show. It's a show that's made for children. As far as that's concerned, I think it's good. I think Jude Law is very good in the show. There's a lot about this show that I like. I like John Watts. I loved the Spider-Man films he made, and I think he's very good at working with children. However, he gets very good performances out of them. However, what I will say is that this show isn't really, I think, what Star Wars fans really wanted. I think what it will introduce a younger section of the audience to the Star Wars franchise, which is a good thing. Um, and I think it'll get people involved from an earlier age, which I think is good. Star Wars is really meant for kids. It always has been meant for kids. I think The Acolyte probably try to do something that Star Wars fans have wanted to see for a very long time, which is kind of a more grown-up version of Star Wars. Andor did that brilliantly. And I think that's a good comparison to make, is the difference between Andor and The Acolyte, where Andor doesn't really baby its viewers. It kind of lets you go along with it and thinks the viewers are intelligent enough to understand what's going on behind the scenes. It's very political as well. I love that kind of political aspect of Star Wars. We haven't really seen that before in the Star Wars franchise, really, apart from all the trade route stuff. But I liked that, and I think the Acolyte kind of was a bit too comic booky, not very well thought out, not particularly well written, and overall not very well directed. I do think there's stuff in there that is decent, but overall I don't think it's the best Star Wars show we've ever seen. Now then you got below that the Book of Boba Fett, which I think is just awful. I think that series is terrible. I liked The Mandalorian. I liked Ahsoka. I actually thought Kenobi was fine. But that's the thing, is all of these shows, apart from really Andor and maybe The Mandalorian to a certain extent, but all of these shows are kind of in that realm of just being fine. And I think personally, one of the bigger issues here is that as far as Lucasfilm is concerned, where from a leadership standpoint, is that they keep on announcing films. They haven't made a Star Wars film in years, and they keep on announcing these films and then cancelling them. And it just doesn't give you a lot of confidence in these people, because why are they announcing films willy nilly and then just cancelling them a couple of years later, or just never talking about them again? So you've got loads of examples: the Taika Waititi film, the Ryan Johnson trilogy. You've got the Rey Skywalker film that was announced, and now is it happening? Isn't it happening? We don't know. So I do think there's an element of that, is that the Star Wars fans just feel like they're being forgotten and being taken for a ride a bit. And Lucasfilm and Disney are hoping that we can get our Star Wars fix through these TV shows that they just seem to be making constantly, because they probably think they found something good in The Mandalorian, something good with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who clearly know the Star Wars universe very well and have a lot of love for it. That is evident in what they're making, but I really think we need to start looking into bringing Star Wars back to the big screen where it belongs. And there was a lot of stuff that's been made over the last 15 years now that I think was okay, as in cinemas. I think Rogue One was a really good Star Wars film. I actually liked Solo. I liked the first Star Wars movie to come back. I thought The Force Awakens was a good film. I have problems with The Last Jedi, but overall I think it's fine. Again, that word comes up again. Now, The Rise of Skywalker I think is dreadful, but at least they were making films, and at least we could see a future. I think Lucasfilm needs to take things back to the drawing board, needs to think about where they're going, needs to come up with a new plan, and needs to start making movies again. Ultimately, I think that is the issue. They're just not making enough films. But let me know what you guys think about all of this. How do you think the future of Star Wars is looking? Are you worried about it? Let me know all those things, all those thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Bye.